Abhijit Roy joins us, Managing Director and CEO with Berger Paints. Every time when we have him on the show, three things don't change: a smile on his face, a lovely wall color, and that sunflower painting, right?
Yes,
Picasso.
that remains constant. All three of them.
You are smiling despite what's happening in the industry. Is it crude
Yes,
which is
yes.
making you smile and competition is not making you nervous?
So there's no point becoming nervous. You need to, have your calm attitude. At any point of time, it doesn't help by becoming nervous. So competition is there. It's always has been there, Nikunj, as we have said. We did, reasonably well in quarter four, as you would have seen. Given the circumstances under which, entire consumption space has been operating, there has been a bit of a slowdown there. We did have a volume growth of about 7.5% in quarter four, value growth of about 4.5. So that's where we stand. Competition will be there, and another 1-2 years, this will probably continue at a similar pace. But then things will stabilize, and each one will have his own stake to defend.
The idea for Berger Paint right now: defend the market share or focus on profitability. Doesn't matter even if you lose market share.
No, defending market share is, definitely more important. We have managed to do that. In fact, we grew our market share last year, in spite of competition from new entrants, including their share. We've gained a little bit. So from that perspective, we have been successfully defending our market share. In terms of profitability, as you saw, we did improve marginally in terms of profit. So we didn't decline as such with the increased competition. So maintaining profitability and defending market share is what we would look at.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Roy. This is Shrishti. But give us some sense on the demand trends as well, because with the onset of the monsoon and now this time with the early onset of the monsoons, such projects related to paints do come at a halt. So, are you witnessing any bit of a slowdown? If yes, then is that purely on a seasonal basis or anything apart from that? Because of the early onset, the impact is a little more this time.
So yes, May towards the end, because of the early onset of monsoon, it did impact the sales a little bit, but it will continue. This is seasonal, so we can't do anything about it. I think it will impact the industry a little bit, because of the unseasonal arrival of the monsoon. It was a bit early, about 7 days. So that will impact to that extent, the growth rate. But more or less, as we have predicted, the growth rates will be similar to what it was in quarter four for us. That's something which we hope that we should be able to achieve.
So, what dynamics to your mind are at play in the paint industry? One is the sector, which historically has seen growth which is in and around the nominal GDP. Second is competition from a large player. And third is acquisition of an existing player by a large corporate group. So, a lot of dynamics are changing: demand side, supply side, pricing side, distribution side, advertising side, everything is changing.
Yeah, so this is a fact of life, Nikunj. You can't shy away from it. So there will be competition in any industry for that matter. In FMCG, there might be, from new entrants which are into the internet, domain, and they come in and, disrupt a little bit. In our case, there have been two new players who have come in, one, as you mentioned, and the other one through the acquisition route, which might, be happening soon. But this second one is already there in the market. They have been there for years, and so therefore, it is not a major new entrant as such. It's just an change in hands sort of, which will be there. So we don't expect too much of disruption in that case. The first one, as they have been aggressive in terms of acquisition by buying some market share, but that's something which is to be expected, and hence we had built that in. In spite of that, as I said, we have managed to maintain, in fact, marginally improve our market share and maintain our profitability. So Our strategy, we remain focused on what we can execute and do better, rather than worry about what's going around in the world.
All right, along with that, Mr. Roy, give us some sense. Where do you see the raw material basket prices heading? Because crude has definitely come off its highest level, but is now hovering around that $65 per barrel mark in the international market. But what's your overall sense? Where are we headed in terms of the overall raw material basket inflation?
I think it will remain more or less at these levels. I don't see any major disruption unless, war or something of that event, some disruptive event happens, which is unlikely at this stage. Therefore, we expect that at the RM prices will remain at similar levels, at the levels at which we are seeing today, which is benign, so to say, and therefore, margins and the gross margins will remain, at a decent level.
How are you looking at innovating? How are you looking at changing the dynamics? I mean, there are categories where competition is high. There are categories where competition is low. Berger is pretty much present in all the categories, from the industrial to commercial to the so-called repainting market. Are there any niche pockets which you've identified where you want to say, okay, I will be the market leader here because my margins are higher?
So Nikunj, we are having leadership in some of the categories like Easy Clean in the interior wall kit category. That's a segment where we are, very dominant. In the case of exterior, we have an anti-dust paint, where we again dominate the segment. In fact, every other company, has copied this, but we still remain, much more in terms of share of in that segment, we are much higher than others. The third is that in the in construction chemical and waterproofing, where we see a lot of scope. There again, we have come out with two very innovative products which are doing quite well actually. One is called Roof Cool and Seal. In this, weather condition, cooling is very much required because of the heat that is there. And soon the monsoon is going to come, so that again, the sealing of that roof is, becoming a proper, very important necessity for consumers. So combining these two, we have this product called Roof Cool and Seal, and it's doing exceptionally well across the country. So that's one product which probably will become a leader in that space, very soon. We introduced another very interesting product, called Tank Cool. Now in summers, it becomes very hot, and the hot water, if you take a bath in the afternoon, and especially housewives, if they are, which they typically do, bathe in around say 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's so hot that you have to keep running the water and till it cools down, and that also sometimes doesn't happen. And you cannot air condition the tank upstairs, so therefore we came out with a product which is a 3-component system, one with a grip primer which attaches to any form of tank, whether it is plastic tank, metal tank, or concrete tank. Then you have another which is a heat reflecting paint, and on top of it there is a clear coat which protects the dust from falling on it, so that the efficacy of the heat reflecting coat remains. So all these three is coming in one box, which you can just, our painters know how to apply, and it will cool down the temperature of the water by 8-9 degrees. So we keep innovating, looking at spaces where unmet consumer demand exists. This is one thing which we observed when I was visiting Nagpur, and some of the contractors came out with this suggestion that why don't we look at this, because most of our consumers ask for such a product. So therefore we came out with this particular product called Tank Cool. So we keep innovating in our own way in spaces where we feel that there are products which are required, which do not meet the consumer needs as of now, and therefore if we can come out with a product, it will help us in garnering a quick market share in that domain.
Innovative idea. Can you come up with some innovative ideas to really fix Bombay roads, please? It's a good business idea, I'm telling you.
Actually, we are looking at some similar concept. We have a company which we acquired, Nikunj, called STP, and they have a road repair solution. Of course, the way Bombay roads are, I don't think, much can be done on that by doing the type of solutions that we have thought of. but it is still, a repairing solution which repairs and also protects the road from getting damaged in the future. So that's something which we have done. Actually, we coated the road in the Prime Minister's museum that is there with this particular coating, and which works very well actually. So therefore, there are certain types of products which we are looking at even for road repairs and maintaining the road health.
Please, please. And I wish you all this early success there. May your breakthrough happen before time, because we all need some breakthroughs to happen in Bombay Road. By the way, 10 days of rain and potholes. Hello again.
Yeah, given that all of Mumbai is pretty much under construction anyway. But good to have you on the show. Thank you so much as always for joining in, Abhijit. Good speaking with you. Let's move.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.